And this is the meeting of the Mashpee Sewer Commission on Thursday, August 21st at 2 p.m. And we are at the Mashpee Town Hall in the Walkway Meeting Room on 16 Great Neck Road in Mashpee. We're being broadcast live on local channel 8 or on high definition channel number 1072, and we're streamed live on the Town of Mashpee website. So I am calling the meeting to order, and I would like, if you can stand, to please stand with me to do the Pledge of Allegiance.
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. And like myself, although I did have my phone silenced, can I ask you to please silence your phones? Okay, may we have a moment of silence as we're accustomed? Thank you. And may I have the commissioners introduce themselves? I'm Meredith Harris. I'm the chair of the commission.
I'm Cody Erickson.
Joe Lyons.
Okay, and we have a member who's absent right now, but we do have a quorum. So the first order of business is to have the approval of our minutes. We have minutes from July 17th, and we have minutes from the meeting of July 21st. We'll take the consideration of July 17th minutes first, please.
I'd like to accept them as they are.
My second.
Okay, and I agree, so we will be accepting the minutes of July 17th as they are unanimously. And for the minutes of July 21st?
I'd like to make the motion that we accept them as they are.
I'll second.
Okay, and I agree, so we'll accept the minutes for July 22nd as well as they stand. The next order of business that we have is public comment, but I must also just let you know that we do have on the agenda, Phase 2 would be the next steps that GHD will be presenting on Summerwood and the final paving concerns, and the Mashpee Wakeby legal response will also be considered during our new business. So if you have comments that pertain to these, I will allow questions and comment during those agenda items being discussed. So if there are any other public comments, I'd be pleased to entertain them.
Yeah. Go ahead, Paul. Thank you.
Please come to the microphone. Yeah, come to the microphone, state your name and
Thank you so
address.
much. My name is Paul Serino.
And just stick to 3 minutes if you can.
Okay. Anything that you did not mention, I thought I should mention it now. I would just make a suggestion to the board that in the future, if possible, we'd be more well-represented as Summerwood residents here if there's people working. It's a working community, and 2 o'clock in the afternoon is very difficult for people to leave their jobs and, daycare and all of that. So if I could suggest to the board in the future, if you could, consider having a meeting at like a more reasonable time, like 6:30, for those people who have a vested interest in what goes on at Summerwood. That's it.
Thank you for your comment.
Okay.
Was there another person who had a comment to make as well?
Hi,
Hi.
I'm Judy Gray from Summerwood
In the
as
microphone,
well.
please. Judy?
Oh, sorry.
Yes, speak in the microphone.
I was here
please.
last October
Yes?
over the fence issue at Summerwood, and since then, you've added in more goodies, and this is what you get to see from the road. It's this contraption.
I'm not sure what you're concerned.
This is your pump.
Could you
The pump
please
station.
describe it?
Could you
There
just
are
describe
people
it?
listening.
Yeah, because there are
But-
people who are also on Zoom, and they might not see the pictures. So can you just tell us what your concerns are,
Well, I'll give them to you
please?
at the end.
Sure.
But when you're going by 28, this is what you're looking at. You're looking at this
pump
thing that
station?
looks like it belongs on a cruise ship vent, and then you got an outhouse out there, and you did start finally maintaining your lawn out there. I'll give you credit for that one. But this area is not safe. We have 30-plus kids at Summerwood, and you're dealing with controls, things that, I walked in and took these pictures. What can a kid do? I really think you need that fenced in. I've written a few times, and I haven't gotten any responses back. And you could easily fence that in on the side, off the side of the building and encapsulate that contraption. I don't think it looks like
understand.
something in an industrial park, not a residential park.
Gotcha.
And just to confirm, Judy, you're talking about 28, right?
Yes.
Not
Route
our
28.
side.
Yeah, when you're sitting in traffic, you can see it. But I don't think it does anything to enhance our property. We were good enough to pass that land over, and I don't think we should look at this. We want the same thing that was done down Mashpee Neck Road. Just encapsulate it.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
concerns. Okay, moving forward, we have a presentation from our engineering group at GHD to talk about Phase 2, the next steps.
Hello, Mark Drainville with GHD. It's just me, no presentation today.
Okay.
So I'll tell you where, the last time I was before you, we were seeking approval to submit to SRF, and we have done that, and the SRF, the State Revolving Fund, they are the entity that is approving the loan application, if you will, and all of the principal forgiveness that goes along with that. They have been reviewing the application. They've come back to us with some questions, some new items they've asked for, and as of an hour ago, we had a check-in with SRF, and there's only one item right now that's left. It's just a signature item on the town side, so it seems right now everything is under control to kind of meet the deadline, which, if you recall, is the end of August. So final signatures of the contracts, the construction contracts, is scheduled for next Thursday by the town manager. So everything seems to be on schedule at this time. So after that, once everything's signed, we would start into pre-construction, and I'm happy to talk more about that once everything's signed up.
Great. Thank you.
All right.
Are there any
Any-
questions of the commissioners of Mark? Of wastewater? Okay, the next order of business on the agenda is the Summerwood final paving. And so I understand that there are some comments and some questions, but I also understand that there is some information that's new from the wastewater superintendent that perhaps we'll present that first, and then have those who are interested. How many of you are from Summerwood that would like to present some comments? We'll wait till we hear from the wastewater superintendent, and then we'll have your comments, please.
Thank you. So I know this has been an ongoing question about the paving. One of the difficulties dealing with when coming in is my predecessor unfortunately died, and I can't even call him and say, hey, do you remember this? Been digging through notes. We were able to find the order of takings and everything, but we could never find the attachments nor were they filed with the registry of deeds when they were filed by the town. So through due diligence, asking everybody I could, GHD actually happened to have the whole packet. They were able to produce it for me, and it does clearly state, let me go back. I talked to the town attorney. The town attorney said that based on the order of takings, the town was not obligated to pave unless the drawing said otherwise. That keyed me into GHD. They produced the drawings, and it does clearly state on there that there's a paved responsibility. We're supposed to have curb to curb. So I've since then given Doug a copy of the map and highlighted the areas that are going to be paved, including parking areas, and just wanted to remind them that it does say, actually from one of your meeting notes, that if you guys want to do any additional paving, that it would be at your expense. I would just encourage, if that's what you wish to do, talk to RBO as immediately as possible. That way you don't end up with any seams in the total paving job. They can hopefully just get it all done at once and do the whole thing. But Doug does have a good map, and I do have another copy here if anybody wants to look at it after the meeting. Having it all laid out, what areas are going to get paved curb to curb. So, and that we'll keep you informed as to when the date is established, when they'll be able to actually come out and do it.
So we're open for comments or questions. Please come forward and state your Name and your address and your concerns.
Hi, my name is Douglas Brown. I'm owner of Brown Building Management LLC. I'm based out of North Falmouth, but I'm working for Summerwood Condos as their property maintenance manager. So I appreciate you looking into this and finding the plans. That's very helpful. Goes pretty much right in hand with what former board members recall, and I appreciate that. We will talk to Mr. Tromley, who's our project supervisor for Robert Hour. We'll coordinate for the additional ad work, and we'll take it from there. So thank you so much for looking into it. I really appreciate it. And we have Alan Kennedy. I don't know if he's a board member who was able to attend today. Our other active board members are not able to attend, but we do have some former board members in attendance. They may wish to speak as well.
And we're open to having your concerns be voiced.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to speak?
Hi, I'm Bob Naylor. I'm a lifer at Summerwood, believe it or not. Pre-construction, Phase 2, Tony DeDeco. All I want to do is first off, thank you for the research. Really appreciate that because we sort of have a patchwork right now, so it's really good that you're going to be doing this. The only other thing, and it may become our responsibility, as I was just mentioning to you earlier, where the pumping station is right now, on our side of the fence, I keep cutting things down because they're dead. And I'm not sure whose responsibility it is, but when I first bought, I had wooded area. So we were fortunate that we could help out in some ways to help get the sewer system going. But if there could be some pine trees or something, and I agree sort of with Judy about the fence because some of the mechanicals are open and there's about 30 to 40 kids on the property, and they sort of walk around and go, hey, let me try this, see what this does. So, a little bit of landscaping, and thank you very much for all you've done, and thank you again for the research. Appreciate it.
If I may make a couple of comments.
Certainly.
So, yes, the fence, looking in that agreement, we also saw the layout of the fence. That fence was something we added in addition to the original agreement. Based off that growth issue, I did try to tackle it way back when you first agreed to it. We didn't own the property yet, and RBO said, oh, we'll replace them when the punch list comes. Okay. Since we've built the fence, I've made it clear, if anything you want to plant on the other side of the fence, I have no issues if you want to beautify it. The only thing I ask is to let me know when you do it and what you plan on doing, because there is the main running under there, and we don't want to ever run up a situation when the tree grows big, it starts.
So I should
pulling
talk
it.
to our board then. Thank you.
Yes, absolutely. And as far as the odor control unit, so everything out there now has padlocks on it now that we're operating it, so they shouldn't be able to touch it off. The issue about putting a fence all the way around the property like we did on Mashpee Neck is that's a state highway, and the speeds are a lot greater, and we're not allowed to put a fence there. It creates a dangerous situation for anybody entering the intersection, because now you're going to be blind left to right when you come out. Your nose is going to be sitting out there if we put it parallel. We did look at Go Away Green, I've been trying to figure out everything. Disney came out with a color called Go Away Green. Apparently it doesn't catch the eye, and so we're actually looking at painting that color. So.
Could I ask another question then?
Yep.
Is it possible that you might be able to go to the corner of the building and the front face of the building would be flush with the fence? That would still enclose it? And
That is possible. I'll have to look at it to see what we're standing financially with the budget. It might not happen right away if it's not enough availability this year.
Okay, thank you.
Judy Gray again from Summerwood. These controls are not locked.
So the system is designed where you have what's called an HOA, hand on off. Most of the controls are actually operated from the inside. Those will not, no, I won't say will not, because God forbid Murphy's Law will kick in and somebody miswired something, but it's intended that when we don't have it on local, it'll run from the inside of the building.
Well, my concern is kids playing with this.
Yep, we will take a
And
look
you
at that.
can run those fences off the side of the building, away from 28. There's plenty of room to do it on the side of the building and encapsulate that in this.
We'll take
which
a look at it.
I don't
That
care
does
what
stick
color
higher,
you
though.
paint it, it's going to stick out.
It's going to stick up no matter what above the fence.
No, but it's going to stick out. I don't care what you paint it, it's there, and it doesn't look pretty.
One of the things that I think is quite remarkable about state government is that you are all the legislative body of our town, and it is important that you do have a say in what is going on in the town. So I thank you for your comments, and I thank you for the diligent town staff and commissioners who do listen to what you have to say and try to find solutions to what some of the issues are. We can't always do exactly what you want, but we will try to look into an issue and look into a problem and try to help find compromise solutions. So, are there any other comments about Summerwood? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to our next item on the agenda, which... You're welcome, thank you. Thank you. Our next order on the agenda is the Mashpee Wakeby legal response, and Mr. Town Manager, would you like to speak, please?
Good afternoon, Madam Chair.
Good afternoon.
The legal opinion that everyone has been waiting for was received August 13th. The intention was to bring it before the Select Board this upcoming Monday. That is still the intention, to review it at that particular time. However, there has been a lot of interest in this and its content, both from public bodies as well as private citizens. So after consultation with the chair of the Select Board, she is aware that I'm distributing it to you today and to anybody else that wants it. I will also be discussing it at the Finance Committee meeting in approximately 2 hours. I will let you read it for yourselves, but I will quote the summary that says, "In summary, we found no instrument of record that would prevent or inhibit the town's proposed project to construct a wastewater treatment facility at this location," end of quote. There's 2 pages, or actually 3 pages in total, so I will distribute that to you, and I don't know that I can answer any questions because this is not my legal opinion, but if there are any questions, then I can make a note of them, or the superintendent can, or the coordinator, and we'll get answers for you.
Thank you very much for attending, and thank you very much for the information.
Thanks.
Thank you.
You?
Thank you.
One of the things that becomes, yes, one of the things that becomes very important is that we do need to address our whole issue of clean water. This has been the issue since the plan was first accepted by the state in 2015. It's been adapted many different times in order to accommodate the fact that the environment has also changed over the last 10 years. So I think all of us need to keep in mind that we are all, as has been stated many different times, that we're all in the interest of clean water. And unfortunately, we also see that everyone seems to have a different agenda. In some ways, it's, well, I live by the pond and I want to see this happen. I live by the woods, I want to see this happen. I live by a bay, I want to see this happen. I live by an estuary, I want to see this happen. We're all citizens of Mashpee, and we all need to figure out a way to compromise in order to get the solutions for clean water. And it can't be one person. I mean, I live by a pond, but I also walk in the woods. I also love swimming in the ocean in Papaneset Bay. And I also love being able to eat seafood from the bay that some of it is no longer available because the eelgrass has been destroyed by the destruction of our clean water areas. So if we want to continue to argue, fuss, and fight, and to only play for our own individual attention, that's not going to work for us. And I just want to do, and know many of you have used the 2015 plan to state some of the issues in it, and I want to just read a short thing from it that says, there is another option to the 2015 plan, and that's to do nothing. So we can continue. It is a paragraph that says, do no action. And if we continue to fight, we will continue to work toward no action. And in the 2015 plan, it says that continuing on individual issues and ignoring the need for clean water, there will be increases on the impact of our drinking water, which at this point is still okay, but for how long will it be okay? There'll be an impact on natural resources, such as the shellfish and fishing. We've already seen that. There's no more cod on Cape Cod. There are no more bay scallops on Cape Cod. We'll continue to lose natural and economic resources. There'll be a decline in future habitats and wetlands. There'll be a loss of property values. There'll be continued algae blooms in the coastal embayments and in ponds. There'll be beach closures, and there'll be declines in tourism. We can be economically dead by continuing to fight. And I ask you to please work together in cooperation so that we can find answers to clean water. All of us have a vested interest in the places where we live, in our specific little corners and in our bigger areas of the town, and we need to work together, otherwise we're all going to be dead. Figuratively, some of us literally, but figuratively, and we can't afford that. So, moving forward, are there any questions or comments to our town manager?
The only thing that I would add, Madam Chair, is I understand that there are going to be discussions and debates relative to specific locations, costs, et cetera. And I think that's healthy in any community, and I respect those that bring in some legitimate concerns. What I do object to are the personal attacks on professional staff who are doing their job in good faith. That is something that is unnecessary, and it's something that, in my humble opinion, is inappropriate. We can have discussions and debates on all of the issues. Professional staff, I repeat, professional staff is not responsible for political decisions and/or policy-making decisions. Through myself as Chief Administrative Officer, we are responsible for administering the policy and implementing it at the direction of the appropriate and proper authorities, whether it be the Sewer Commission, or whether it be the Select Board, or whether it be some other appropriate authority. So all I ask is that people understand that there will be differences of opinion. I understand that. I fully appreciate that and respect that. But I certainly hope that whatever the differences are, they don't become personal, and we keep it dignified. And that's it.
Thank you. I totally agree. I think that our way of town government is extraordinary. We've made great progress. And the fact that citizens do have an opportunity to debate and to raise questions and to seek answers is the healthiest way that we can have a good town government. And I totally agree with that. So thank you so much for attending our meeting today and for being a part of it, and for your leadership. You've done a great deal in trying to help us to move forward with our clean water plan and in maintaining our system of government the way it needs to be done.
Well, sometimes it's like a tightrope, but we shall march on. All right.
Or an elastic band.
That is true. Thank you.
All right, if you do have any questions subsequent to today, I certainly welcome you to send them over to the superintendent. And if it's a legal question, then we're going to get a legal opinion.
Right.
If it's something that is operational, we'll try to get an immediate answer for you.
Thank you.
All right, you're welcome.
Now, may I open the floor to, may I ask the wastewater superintendent if there's any comments or questions or anything from the commissioners?
Yep, I just wanted to let you know that we have put together a tentative plan to start the public outreach portion for this project. We have picked 4 specific dates to be held here in the Coit Room. We're going to do mailings to the abutters to let them know when these dates are following this. But the plan is for September 4th, September 25th, October 2nd, and October 16th at 7 p.m. here in the Coit Room to do the public outreach and comment. I've received a lot of emails with with a lot of questions, and I'm trying to get to them as much as I can, but we're still trying to start up a plant, build a system, expand a system, and I'm trying to answer as much as I can and at least trying to hit everybody once as quickly as I can. So it might take a little while, but I still intend to get back to every written question when I can get to it. But also, we hope that we can answer all these. And I do encourage more comments. One of the things that we're looking at is, and it seemed to be one of those reoccurring questions, it was about the building size and the building and what it's going to look like. And unfortunately, we don't have anything designed yet. But one of the things we did look at was, did a site walk yesterday on the Sandwich side coming in from the back. I believe we can totally eliminate the road coming from Gunter's completely, so we should not even end up in the neighborhood at all, is the intent. And the other thing I asked GHD, threw them a little curveball at the end of the day, was going, well, as we were looking out at the site, there's a huge hill coming off the road. Why couldn't we put the building into the side of the hill so that when you're looking from Mashpee north, you should see nothing at all? They're looking into that and exploring that option as another method that we could try to meet one of the comments made, and I think it is viable. So, but they'll let me know whether or not that actually can be done.
Commissioner Lyons, you have a comment?
Yes, could we have a simple name defining this project instead of the project near the ponds in the north of town?
Mashpee Wakeby project is how it's listed with SRF.
Mashpee?
Wakeby project.
Wakeby. It
Cluster
could be 100 projects.
Cluster system. It's called the Mashpee Wakeby Cluster System is how we filed it with the
Thank you.
DEP.
Okay, I would like to open the floor for those of you who are interested in making comment. I have several names on the list. Arden Russell, Lynn Barbie, and Susan Dangle. And if there are others of you who are also interested in speaking, please come forward, give your name and your address, and please feel free to state your concerns and try to limit your comments if you can to 3 minutes.
I will try. I did not practice. I don't know how long it's going to be. Arden Russell, Sturgis Lane. I was in attendance at the recent Mashpee Wakeby Cluster Wastewater System operations meeting. At that meeting, those of us who were expressing our concerns were told that this has been a very transparent process, and how could we possibly claim lack of knowledge about it at this point? I disagree with those statements and that interpretation. I don't believe it has been a transparent process, which is very concerning, and I'm going to give you the reasons why. I've reviewed all the Sewer Commission agendas from 2023, 2024, and 2025. Nowhere on any of those agendas is the word Gunter's Lane, Pimlico Heights, location of Mashpee Wakeby wastewater treatment system, or open space mentioned. At no time would the public be made aware that the Sewer Commission was considering that location for the North Mashpee wastewater treatment facility. Additionally, only half of the 2024 agendas are on the website, and only one 2025 agenda is on the website. I needed to come into Town Hall to access those agendas, which is not very user-friendly. As recently as January 27, 2025, at the Select Board meeting, GHD Consultants presented a 20-year plan on how Mashpee was going to meet its TMDLs for both Pompanesett and Wacoit Bay. The plan shows that Phase 3 is scheduled to begin directly after Phase 2 and will start providing relief to Wacoit Bay. This is not that project. The 5-year capital improvement program for 2024 and 2025 does not include a line item for the Mashpee Wakeby Cluster system. It wasn't until fiscal year '26 that it was inserted right up at the top of the priority list. As you know, this project is not in the comprehensive wastewater management plan. Additionally, the science for that plan indicates that this area will never need to be sewered. The May 2025 town meeting article, which sought funding for the design of this system, did not mention a location for this system, even though the SRF application did indeed indicate Zero Gunter's Lane would be the location, and that was submitted in August of 2024, so that information was withheld from the public at the May 2025 town meeting. The October 2025 town meeting warrant article right now asking us to support $25 million still does not mention a location for this system. There's no address. Voters have no idea that they are being asked to sacrifice a large parcel of open space for this system. That information is being withheld from them. As you said, clean water, Mashpee's plan to address the issues, how we're going to fund that, and how it affects us all personally are really important issues. However, for the average person, it's a lot to learn, and attending daytime meetings is even more difficult. I didn't think I needed to attend sewer commission meetings or even follow them very closely because I knew the sewer commission was following their blueprint of the comprehensive wastewater management plan. And if you're familiar with the plan, then you can assume and you know what the sewer commission is doing to implement that plan. But that apparently is no longer the case. This wastewater treatment plan, for some reason, has been inserted as a priority project above all those discussed in the comprehensive wastewater management plan. I agree that we can do nothing. However,
May I ask you to cut it
Yep,
really
I'm done.
short?
The lack of transparency, the lack of information to the public is eroding trust in our wastewater process and our plan. If we can't believe or trust what you're saying and telling us, the voters will be reluctant to support future initiatives.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello, could you give your name and address, please?
Yes, my name is Colleen. I'm a resident of Gunter's Lane. I'm here today to express continued concern regarding the redevelopment of Zero Gunter's Lane. As a direct abutter, I still have not received any written notification regarding this project. We have asked on multiple occasions for notification to be distributed to abutters, and I understand that Jared just said that they're planning to do this, but it's been a month since this was initially asked. We were told mistakes were made in the one attempt that has been made thus far in communicating when only a few abutters received a letter intended for all. Despite this commission recognizing this mistake and the lack of communication, we still have not been notified. Just yesterday, I looked out my window to see someone digging a hole in my front yard. No introduction, no explanation, no notice from the town for the reason a stranger is digging in my yard. Is this how you want to treat your residents? I understand that you are doing the minimum that is legally required regarding communication, but it's just simply not enough. This is just one of the issues with this proposal. It is clear that this land was originally intended to be open space. It was originally deeded cluster development open space and taken by the town in tax taking to be transferred to the Conservation Commission. The land is clearly marked by several conservation signs throughout the property, and no, I am not talking about the signs on the Notre Dame parcel. It was recognized by the state as conservation land until recently, as this project continued to be discussed. It is clear that this land was intended to remain open space and conservation land, even if the town did not follow through on their promise to transfer the parcel to the Conservation Commission. I understand the legal opinion on the use of this land is stating that it can legally be used. Despite this, it is not the right thing to do. The town's mission statement is to preserve public trust. How do you expect the residents of this town to trust you when the town does not communicate, does not follow through on their statement to transfer this land to the Conservation Commission, did not renew the deed restrictions protecting this land as open space, and is now using their own negligence to redevelop the land? If you can do a project only because of a legal loophole directly tied to this town's own negligence and failure to follow through on their action plan and promises to the residents, it should simply not be done.
Thank you. Are there any other speakers? I have Lynn Barbie and Susan Dangle on the list.
Hi, Lynn Barbie, 73 Surf Drive. I was also at the operational meeting, and I feel compelled to say, I want clean water. I swim in the pond. It is really important to me. I think the issue here is not, do we want clean water or not? The question is, in order to get clean water, are we going to violate the deeds that say that this is open space? And what does that do for the rest of us in the town who live in a cluster development with open space if it's not really open space, if it's not protected open space? So my issue is not, should we have this treatment plant, but where should it be? Because I'm curious whether or not you all had full information about whether this land was deeded open space, part of a cluster development created by a very old planning board, a very previous planning board, that protected the cluster development is based on having the open space. So what happens to the rest of this area? Is it open space? Will people be able to walk through like they've been able to do now? Because I would worry that there would be, I would assume there might be fences around something if there's even a structure there. So what does it mean for the whole town to remove open space that has been useful and available to everyone in the town? And what does it mean for the rest of us who live in places where we also have deeded open space that we want to protect? So again, I totally want clean water, and I think that to phrase this as either it's clean water or not, it's not. It's how do you get clean water and protect open space? Because I think that's really the issue here. And it's not that those of us who want to protect open space don't want clean water. And I respect all of the work that you all do, but I also think that the legal decision may not have taken into account what it means to take open space away from people who have it on their deeds and who everybody else in the town has been able to avail themselves of walking through that area and protecting the natural resources there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Good afternoon, Susan Dangle, Katuitt Road. I guess I'm going to be the lone person to say I'm very happy with the decision. I think that this project is a critical part of the whole clean water effort that we have in this town. Mashpee Wakeby is at the top of the headwaters of the Mashpee River. The river runs all the way down to Pompanesett Bay. And after the conclusion of the diagnostic study that was done for 3 years, it is clear that by sewering the properties north of Wakeby, that we will be reducing nitrogen in the Pompanesett Bay watershed by 4% in 20 years. Adding to what's already been done in phase 1 and 2, we're nearly at half of the reduction in, I think we might even be over half of the reduction that we need to do in Pompanesett Bay. I do understand, and I feel for folks that have to have something done to the land behind them, but to say that we're taking away their open space is a far cry from what's really going to happen. I too was at the operational meeting and understand that we're talking about between 4 and 7 acres. And Mr. Meter has also declared that they're going to do everything possible to reduce that amount as much as possible, and today talked about putting an eyesore that they don't want to see as far as a small building into the side of a hill is brilliant. The facts are this, though. We have $25 million that's been approved by the state for the SRF funding, and we have 25% forgiveness that is guaranteed. That money has been allocated by the state in a fund that is funded. So if we don't do this, we have to give that money back, or the rights to that money back, and we can't go back again for any more until next July. And while that is something we could do, we are also telling the state that this project wasn't ready to go, when in fact it is. It's very well thought out. It's also something that I think the state was most interested in hearing about, because the nature of this amphidrome system is such that it could be deployed in many other parts of Mashpee that are difficult to sewer. And right now, the Wacoit Bay watershed is fighting a PFAS plume that is really wreaking havoc on where treated wastewater can be discharged. And because of that, I think that it makes sense to move ahead with this. It was voted on unanimously by the Sewer Commission, yourselves, the Select Board, and the Finance Committee in May. And I would like to continue to support clean water. We've supported every single effort in clean water from the standpoint of those of us on the lake. We've been out canvassing people. We've talked about the sewer, phase 2 of the Sewer Commission, to dozens and dozens of homeowners. We are in it for the long haul, and this is an important project that I would like to see move forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments or questions? I just have one more thing to say about the 2015 plan. And although I do respect what each of you has to say and how we need to continue with our dialogue, but I must also say that that the plan is an adaptive plan. It was written in 2015. The environment has changed over 10 years. The plan has to change over 10 years. You also may realize that there are 2 other components of the 2015 plan, which was to have a system of aquaculture of shellfish that would help to mitigate nitrogen. Didn't work. It was tried. It didn't work. The shellfish died. There was also a plan for Joint Base Cape Cod to be an integral part of our plan. Joint Base Cape Cod is no longer a part of that plan. There's been ownership changes in terms of the plant. There are issues with the wastewater discharge. So the changes, or the points that were raised in the plan, have got to be adapted to fit with the environment, to fit with the changes as they have occurred. And again, working together in cooperation and listening to each person's concerns is one of the things that we are concerned about. And as you heard from Mr. Meter, that there will be ample opportunity to have conversation at times that are reasonable for people to attend meetings on September 4th, September 24th, October 2nd, and October 16th at 7 p.m. here in the Wacoit meeting room, for those of you who would like to express your concerns about where we're going. Remember, this is planning. This is a chance to have an opportunity, a conversation with the engineers, with the staff from the wastewater department, to help to make the best plans possible in order for us to reach our goals, all of them together, as we work toward clean water in Mashpee. So are there any other comments or questions? Yes, Colleen, would you like to come forward again to the microphone?
Colleen, Gunter's Lane. I just have a question I'm hoping you can clarify.
Hopefully.
I understand that the plans from the 2015 original plans can change. At what point did this specific area in the Mashpee-Wakeby system get moved up in the priorities from not even phase 5 to now taking a precedent and a priority? At what point did that change?
I can just, I know that Mr. Meter will answer the question, but there was a major change in terms of some of the new science when there was a study of Mashpee-Wakeby Pond, which had never been done before, and what the impact of the Mashpee-Wakeby Pond is on the watershed. So that was one of the factors, and the study was just completed within the last 2 years. And so part of that is what has gone into showing where we are in terms of the degradation of the watershed.
Okay.
Mr. Meter, would you like to
Same period, it's about approximately 2 years ago, and kind of what led to me looking at these other areas were, this area specifically, because one of the issues we really run into is recharge. Mashpee is very lucky to have, we have a ton of conservation land within the town, and it really runs right down the middle I have a map downstairs I've been hand coloring, just trying to find out where conservation land is. So every time we're told we have to sewer, we have to put all this water in the ground, and then we keep getting hit with these, but you can't put it here. You can't mound and create, you can't impose on surface waters by so much. You can't go into white cedar swamps. You can't go near vernal pools. And so what looks like a lot of area that we can go at gets smaller and smaller and smaller. And honestly, I believe cluster systems might end up being the alternative to achieve the goals that we're mandated to do in a lot of areas that we can't run pipes because you have to go through conservation land, or you can't recharge an area. So it might be better to take the existing septics, just have basically a neighborhood share, and put the waste more locally. And there's actually several communities within Mashpee that already do that. They already have these systems in the ground. I actually went and visited one yesterday. I won't say the name because I'm sure they will not appreciate everybody, showing up in their neighborhood and checking it out. But we literally stood next to it, didn't hear a sound, didn't smell a thing. And it's literally abutting right next to a house. Actually, it's in the middle of a neighborhood. But that's just an example. But I think this might end up being the solution, because if not, it's going to get really expensive. I mean, we're told to deal with this, but nobody's helping us by restricting and adding more things that we can't do. So it's been about 2 years, to answer your question. It got phase 3 still on course. It's just, again, we're still trying to find good recharge areas for phase 3. We still haven't found that recharge area to meet the load that we have. So it is progressing. This just had to be like a add-on that we could do now.
Thank you for your explanation. What phase is this area currently listed as?
It was never listed in a phase. It was actually not even put in there because the old study said, oh, there's no, the pond takes care of all the nitrogen.
Okay.
Was
so
the original
it
thought
does
process.
not have a phase associated with it at this point?
It was never part of
Not
any of the
even like
phase
phase
plans.
5?
Not any of
There's
the
too
phases.
few homes up there, there's too little waste up there when it's compared to other sections in town. So we had to go for the big heads first, everything down here where the population density is high, okay? And that's the way the big plan was created. The issue on the top of the ponds, I still do not agree with, and I'm only one member on the board. But keep that in mind, that this is still planning, this is still working on details, trying to figure out what's the best way to do things in the only places that we can, all right? So if I were you and I lived in that neighborhood, I would sleep very well at night, and that's my opinion.
If there's too few homes in the area and it's not even impactful enough to be phased, why is it going ahead of these phase 3 and spending $25 million? Is it only because of the funding from the state? Would this be happening if we didn't have that 25% reduction? Or would that $20 million be spent elsewhere that could be more impactful?
Could you use your microphone, please?
I mean, I disagree with that statement. Is it having
a question.
too few homes? This was called out in a diagnostic assessment, and the homes were outlined in Ed Eichner's report, if you would like to review. I mean, they are contributing to the pond and the watershed.
But would this project be happening if it wasn't for the state funding? Or would that $20 million that you're still going to be spending be allocated elsewhere that could be more effective in the overall goal?
We've applied for the funding for this specific project. If we do not move forward with this specific project, it goes back to the state. We are not eligible to use it elsewhere.
I understand, but you're still spending close to $20 million on this despite the state's funding. It's only 25% off. It's still $20 million.
I would say yes, it would still be a project that I would have brought forward, and mainly because of the fact that we're going to have these recharge issues. The Ed Eichner report solidified, in my opinion, a reason why to go forward. It was something that I had actually started working on prior to the Ed Eichner and the money, and I was doing more feelers with people. What do you think? What do you think? And enough people heard it. They said, yeah, we think this is a great project. And they called the town manager, and then I got told, let's get it going. Okay. And so we did it. But the funding is a good portion, especially considering there was a proposed 90% cut in the funding next year. So we're still going on with phase 3, but it's a longer drawn out process. But if, I believe this will be successful, and I believe it'll help us in future planning in the town and save us money in the long run.
Yeah, it's just hard to understand how something went from not phased at all to now taking precedent, that's all. It's hard to understand.
Thank you.
Actually, can GHD?
And then, yeah, we have Mark Dranville from GHD who will address the question.
So if I could just add one thing. So we have been in the process of updating the town's 2015 plan. I apologize for not giving an update earlier. We are right now coordinating with DPW streets so if you bear with me, we're in the process of coordinating with DPW to try and release a draft of that plan. But one of the primary recommendations of the plan was to look at this area north of Mashpee, Wakeby Pond. So that was one of the primary recommendations of the draft plan. So I want to just mention, it didn't come out of nowhere. It was recommended as part of that plan.
Mark, can you confirm who recommended it?
So what I mean by is that it was recommended to look at this area, to study it. There were four primary recommendations of that plan to do further study, and that was one of them. And Wakeby, Waquoit was another one, and there were two other recommended studies. So I just want to mention.
Are you saying that was all the way back in 2015?
No. It's part of the current update of that plan.
And who made the recommendation of those four?
That came as part of the I want to say the waste.
Are you
the
saying
wastewater
your
group.
engineering firm made the recommendation?
It was part of the wastewater group. So it's not just us. It's the the group that's wastewater management. Department.
We didn't have
and
any
us.
wastewater management in this town 2 years ago, basically. We're just getting started. Who made the recommendations of these four areas that needed additional study?
So these were recommendations that were part of the presentations that I gave earlier this year in January and February.
All right, a recent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just mean the update has been going on for a period of time. We just presented the draft plan earlier this year. So I just want to clarify that it didn't, it did come about as part of this update to the watershed management plan. So that's where this has come about.
And I do have another question.
Can I ask those in the audience to please keep your voices down, because we are being televised and it's difficult to hear the people who are speaking?
It sounds like these cluster treatment systems may be a more cost-effective way, you were saying, to manage the water problem in the town. Do you anticipate in the future having additional cluster treatment facilities in deeded open space in neighborhoods if the deed has expired?
I would anticipate if we are unable to find alternative recharge areas, it'll be another tool in the toolbox that the town can use to try to meet our goals. It's no guarantee we're not actively going to say, hey, we're going to start out with a cluster system. This is what we want to do. No, we're going to try sewering first. That's our primary goal. Technically, the secondary option would be if it's too far away or it's with areas with big lots. Most likely go to IA systems. So, okay, you got to use IAs. But some areas might be close enough. They're kind of in that in between that a cluster system might work. Everything is kind of like specific to the area we're trying to do. I have to actually, if you said this area here, what's your plan? Then it would take it back, look at lay it all out. This is our best option. But it's, I can't hypothetical unless I have like a specific area. But this could be another tool in the toolbox for the town to achieve its goals.
So hypothetically, if a neighborhood has deeded open space that the town has taken in tax taking or whatever measure, and 30 years have gone by and that deed has expired, that land is available to the town for cluster sewer treatment systems in any neighborhood.
Potentially, yes. I mean, it potentially could happen. Like I said, it's not a legal technicality, it's the law. It's 30 years is the law. Whether or not you know the law, I don't know every law in the books. Nobody knows every law in the books, but it is a law. It's not a technicality.
If the deed restriction's not renewed. Isn't that the responsibility of the town when they take it in tax taking?
No, that's actually a deed restriction that was granted to the people that wanted the subdivision in order to have the subdivision.
We're not
If you
here.
choose not to pay your
That's legal
taxes and the town takes it,
Situations.
if you want to guarantee it, you pay your taxes and you renew your deed.
Why
We're
would-
not, neither you or us, or this committee, or Jared are capable or allowed to discuss financial or legal situations, because they're beyond our individual control. We don't have law degrees, we're not judges. This is a very sticky issue. So you asked what appears to be a simple question. It isn't. The other thing that you said a while ago, which I want to object to, is that the cluster system is a cheaper way to go.
That's
It
what
is
Jared
not.
said.
Okay?
He said that today.
You interpreted what he was saying, that it is cheaper. It isn't. They're not cheaper. They're generally more expensive, because there's only a few houses involved, and you have to put a lot of money into the ground. All right? So these are complicated issues. Please don't make assumptions and then say things.
There are many different issues that are involved, and we're touching the tip of the iceberg. So if we're asking legal questions, we don't have the legal authority to do that. When there have been transfers or there have been issues about deeds that were written in the 1980s or 1970s, we don't have any answers to that. Is it the developer that should have transferred the land? Is it conservation that should have transferred the land? We don't have answers to your questions about that.
Who would be the most appropriate person to ask why this land was never actually transferred to the Conservation Commission as put in the action plan by the town when they took this land with tax?
May I ask you a
Who's the best person
question?
to
What
ask?
is that going to do? It doesn't help your
It was
situation.
supposed to be conservation land.
No, excuse me. Someone told you it was supposed to be
Town's action
conservation
plan
land. There is
stated
no
that.
legal record of it. We've already gone past that.
The town's
All right?
action plan
It's
clearly
nice
states
to have a neighborhood. I got
that it's
trees
supposed to
behind
be
my house.
conservation
It's
land.
wonderful.
Who should I ask that question to if this is not the appropriate committee?
I'm not sure, but I will try to find out for you and
Thank
give
you.
you an answer.
Thank you.
Okay.
Placing the blame on somebody that's left office 15 years ago isn't going to help your issue.
Madam Chair, may I have one more word?
Please.
I'd like to call everyone's attention to the Select Board meeting on July 11th, 2022. There was an interview of Mr. Tom Fadala regarding Mashpee Wakeby and the properties north of it. He was in agreement that it should be sewered. He acknowledged that it is not in any plan. It was not on Mashpee's plan or Sandwich's plan. There was no diagnostic study done at the time that these plans were done. And due to the adaptive nature of this plan that we have from 2015, things can change. I recall sitting here watching a joint meeting of the Sewer Commission and the Select Board go over 9 different options for changing the plan to get Phase 2 to come together. So the plan changes as things change. And I believe that at this time, because we are so hamstrung in the Wacoit area at the moment, it was thought that it was not worth not applying for SRF funding last year. And this project was small enough in size that it made sense to go forward with it. 50% of the towns that applied for SRF funding last year did not get it. We did, and we were very highly ranked for this project due to its possibilities. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments?
So,
You state your name and your address, please.
I will. I'm going to sit down first. Thank you, Meredith. Hi, I'm Mary Wagon. I live at 35 Ashumet Road. And so I have a question about the funding for this proposed plant north of Mashpee Wakeby. Was it involved in an application from the town for state revolving funds? SRF money? It was?
Yes.
Okay, because I did a public records request, and I didn't see it in it. Is there any way I can get a copy of the application? I did a public records request from DEP,
Oh, DP. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was like, I didn't see, okay.
and it might be out of date, but if I could get a copy of that, and is that the only state funding that you've gone for this plant? Because,
That the town has applied for?
yeah, because I heard there was something like a deadline that was extended.
And your point is?
I want to read the application so I completely understand it before I make a public comment on it.
And we'll
Is that
try-
okay?
Then we'll try to get that for
Okay.
you.
So there's any funding request has gone into the DEP, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
It would depend on what kind of funding. There are many funding sources.
That's what I'm trying to figure out. What are the funding sources that you've applied for, that the town has applied for the proposed wastewater treatment facility at zero,
For any of the wastewater treatment that's been done
north
over
of
the last...
Mashpee Wakeby Pond?
Okay,
That's what I'm looking for.
okay.
Yes, I can get you a copy.
Okay.
It's like this thick, so I'll have to get you a copy of that after the meeting.
That's great.
Yep.
The other thing, when the town manager left, I did read the decision, the opinion from the title search company, which is not from town council. KP Law did not, that's not an opinion from KP Law, that's not from town council, just to let everybody know. But,
Excuse me, that was subbed out.
do you have a comment?
It was subbed out.
It was subbed out, but it was not an opinion from, it's not on stationery by town council. That's one thing. Second of all, it doesn't address that this land, use of this land and the boundaries of this land was formed by a cluster subdivision of the planning board, and it's signed by the planning board.
Done
So,
by the ZBA.
look at the plan.
1985, it was done by ZBA. Didn't we just clarify that? Special permit? Okay, sorry, excuse me, I stand corrected.
What is the question, please?
I'll give it to Madam Chair, and she can share. I've given this to you before. In the top left corner,
It's not readable.
I think I
in the
have.
top left corner of that plan, there are signatures by the planning board. So the planning board created that plan, authorized that plan. Okay? I can't imagine this is not going to have to come before the planning board again to modify it. That's all.
Thank you for your comments.
You're welcome.
Are there any other comments?
Excuse me, let me ask you a question, Mary. Why don't you bring it up when the manager was in the room, when Rodney spoke?
Because I asked him to look into that. He offered to answer any questions in addition to that piece of paper that he provided from a title search company.
But you didn't raise the question then? She wasn't in the room. She wasn't here yet. Oh.
No, I was here. I was here. And when Rodney walked out, I asked him for a moment of his time to say that.
But you had an opportunity while he was in the room and during public record.
Oh, Joe, maybe I didn't think of that question until I saw Rodney walking out. But I'm bringing it up now. This land looks like it went to the ZBA. Is that right? Went to the ZBA. It went to Superior Court, right?
Yep.
Then, in the meantime, it went to the planning board.
We can check into it. Thank
Yeah,
you
I'll
for
have to
your
look into
comment.
Yeah, it
I
went to
do
the
have to
planning
look
board,
into
and I think that resolved the court case with the ZBA. So if you have the filing at the Superior Court about this land, that would be very helpful too. And the town clerk is looking for that right now. Because if it went to the Zoning Board of Appeals, right, and there was a denial, and then it went to Superior Court, there would have had to have been some type of paperwork filed with the town clerk on that.
Then we'll try to find it.
Great, thank you.
Thank you. Are there any other comments or questions or concerns? Commissioner,
I'd just like to add, this project is massive. It's the engineering and the design that goes into it. It's constantly evolving. It's changing. They're finding new locations. There's surveys, core samples. They're doing their best to find locations to build these things. And I just wanted to add that, if we're building something that is helping to conserve our water and protect our conservation land and Mashpee in general, isn't it conserving and protecting our waterways?
thank you. Commissioner Lyons, any other comments?
No.
Okay.
Hi, I'm Irene Chekovich, Sunset Strip. I wasn't planning on speaking, but as we're talking, I just wanted to mention something that one of the residents of this cluster system mentioned to me when I walked the area with Chris Aziz. And I don't know if it's accurate, but I just thought I would mention it for the record. One person mentioned that relatively recently, those 3 roads were taken over by the town, and that some of those residents are still paying the betterment for those road improvements. Now, I'm assuming that when those road improvements were done, the sewer connections weren't put in because it was never supposed to be sewered. So one person said to me, I wonder if I'm going to get a refund or if I don't need to pay the betterment anymore because now the road is going to be torn up again. I just wanted to pass that on to you in case you get some flack from some of the residents. Again, I don't know if it's true, but it was a comment that was made to me by one of the people that's living there. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment.
Who is this one here? Christine has.
Oh, that's just an email, but it was just an email.
Well, you gotta get rid of it, do something.
Yeah, the only other item on the agenda had to do with an email from one of the residents from the Gunter Lane area, and it's been addressed.
Okay.
Are there any other comments? Oh, I'm sorry. There was an area for the wastewater superintendent update, or have you already covered the things you want to cover?
I think we've pretty much covered everything.
Okay. Okay, then we have essentially covered the areas on our agenda, and then I would entertain a motion.
The motion to adjourn?
To adjourn.
And I would agree, so we are now officially adjourned at 3:10 in the afternoon.